Why do people fall in love with you? Have you ever stopped to think about what makes some people feel irresistibly drawn to you in an almost magical way? Is it because of your personality, your physical appearance, or some particular charm? Or perhaps there's something much deeper beyond the surface that awakens that fascination. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, had a unique vision of love. According to Jung, love is not a random accident, nor merely a spark that ignites by chance, nor a mystical and inexplicable phenomenon. In reality, people fall in love for much deeper reasons that go beyond the obvious. In this video, we'll explore Jung's fascinating ideas about love, projections, the anima and animus, and discover why someone might feel so attracted to you. Not because of your external appearance, but because of what you represent in their inner world. Jung believed that romantic connections are not mere coincidences. In his view, love arises as a result of deep, mysterious forces operating within our psyche, forces we're often not even aware of. We fall in love not just because of what we see, but because something in our psyche finds a reflection in the other person. It's about what the other symbolizes for us, a projection of our most hidden desires, parts of ourselves we haven't fully understood. In this video, we'll unravel the two fundamental reasons why someone might truly fall in love, reasons not based on superficial attributes, but on a deeper, almost mystical connection that has to do with the human soul. Before diving into this fascinating journey to understand the invisible forces shaping romantic attraction, I invite you to subscribe to our channel to join a community seeking to understand and transform life through a deep, conscious approach. Now, let's begin this journey into the depths of the human soul. It's common to think of love as something that arises suddenly, like a spark that ignites without warning. But for Carl Jung, that spark we feel upon meeting someone isn't a mere accident. Even though attraction seems instantaneous, there's a deeper order behind that connection. It's an internal logic, an unconscious structure guiding our feelings and decisions, forged not by chance, but by a culmination of unresolved emotions, experiences, and needs deeply rooted within us. What we perceive as a random or spontaneous connection is actually the visible result of invisible forces operating within us, a symphony of the psyche that draws us towards certain individuals while pushing us away from others. These forces aren't arbitrary. They're shaped by our personal history, what we've lived through, and what we've yet to integrate. Every relationship, every bond, has an invisible architecture, a psychic structure that directs us towards certain people, sometimes without us fully understanding why. Jung spoke of the concept of projection, the tendency to see in others what is hidden within ourselves. We fall in love, in part, with the projections we cast onto the other person. We seek something we feel is missing, or something that reflects what we aspire to become. Perhaps the person you're attracted to is merely a mirror of your own desires and the qualities you secretly wish to integrate into yourself. Through projection, the other becomes a receptacle for our deepest longings. This process of seeing in others what we don't see in ourselves can create an intense, powerful connection. Jung also introduced the concepts of the anima and animus, the representations of the opposite sex within our psyche. The anima is the image of the feminine in men, while the animus is the image of the masculine in women. These images are key to understanding romantic attraction. Love, then, isn't just about chemistry or admiration for someone's physical or superficial qualities. It's a deep dance between unconscious forces within each individual, a connection with parts of ourselves we seek to complete or integrate. Thus, love isn't merely the meeting of two bodies that attract each other. It's a meeting of two inner worlds, a deep and silent dialogue between who we are and who we desire to be. This is the fascinating mystery of love according to Carl Jung. Attraction isn't just about what we see, but what we recognize and project onto the other. Here, Jung introduces one of his most fascinating ideas: projection. According to him, each of us carries hidden fragments of our being within, images representing who we are, who we were, or who we long to be. These images aren't always welcome. They're often repressed, denied, or lost in the shadows of our unconscious. Parts of ourselves we don't want to acknowledge or don't know how to integrate. Yet these images don't disappear. They remain latent, waiting to be seen, waiting to be heard. Interestingly, instead of staying trapped within us, they find their way outward through the people we meet. When we encounter someone who resonates with these hidden fragments, that resonance can manifest as a deep, almost magical attraction. But in reality, it's not the other person we're seeing. It's a part of ourselves reflected in their being. Imagine someone who's lived their entire life cautiously guarding their emotions, perhaps even fearing vulnerability. This person might have learned to protect their heart, keeping their distance because they feared showing their true self would lead to pain. Now imagine they meet someone completely different, bold, expressive, unafraid to show emotions, free from the complexes that often limit others. This person might feel deeply attracted, but that attraction isn't simply admiration for the other's external qualities. It's an internal resonance, a response from the unconscious. That bold, free person reflects something the cautious individual carries hidden within, a potential, a repressed part of themselves. The attraction is the call of that hidden part, the unconscious trying to bring to light something that's been waiting. The same happens in reverse. Someone might fall in love with you not because of your appearance or visible qualities, but because unknowingly, you represent something they feel is missing. It could be a trait of your personality, an emotional quality, or even an attitude toward life they've been unconsciously seeking. You become the missing piece in their inner puzzle, the living symbol of a part of themselves they haven't yet developed. The attraction is real, but its origin is far deeper than superficial desire. It's their psyche responding to what they need to grow and evolve. One fundamental reason people feel attracted is that you represent something they lack. This attraction isn't just about opposites attracting. It's about opposites revealing what's absent in the other. For example, a deeply rational person might be drawn to someone spontaneous and emotionally expressive. An introvert might connect profoundly with an extrovert comfortable in the spotlight, while they prefer calm introspection. Similarly, someone with a structured, orderly life might be fascinated by someone who lives chaotically, following impulses without restraint. In these cases, it's not just opposites attracting, it's the unconscious of each recognizing something they need to learn, something absent in their own psyche. But this dynamic becomes complex. Though the attraction can be deep and genuine, it risks becoming dependency. If someone doesn't recognize that what they admire in the other is something they could develop within themselves, they might cling to that person, not out of authentic love, but an unconscious need to fill a void. This dependency, though initially intense, is fragile. When the idealized image of the other is disrupted by their humanity, the attraction can fade, leaving behind the echo of what once seemed a profound connection. This is the danger of projection. It creates an illusion of connection that often can't withstand reality. Relationships built on projection might seem perfect at first, but when masks fall and each person confronts the other's true humanity, the connection crumbles. Love founded on superficial idealization loses strength, and what seemed profound becomes a mirage dissolving under real complexity. Jung invites us to reflect on love not as a superficial emotion, but as a deeply transformative process involving discovering and accepting parts of ourselves through others. True connection isn't about what we see in the other. It's about what we unconsciously project and discover in them, and what we ultimately integrate into ourselves. Jung expanded his understanding further with the Anima and Animus, archetypal images of the opposite sex residing deep in our psyche. For men, the Anima is the unconscious image of the feminine. For women, the Animus is the image of the masculine. These figures aren't random preferences or culturally imposed roles. They're internal representations formed from early relationships, especially parental figures, and shaped by collective symbols of femininity and masculinity from our culture, myths, and the psyche itself. Over time, these archetypes become emotional patterns we carry unconsciously. When we meet someone who perfectly fits these inner figures, the attraction can feel predestined, like soulmates reuniting. But Jung warns this isn't fate. It's the human psyche recognizing its own internal design reflected in another. The second profound reason someone might fall in love with you relates directly to this. You awaken a powerful unconscious image they've carried for years. It's not about resembling them in appearance or behavior. It's about symbolizing something deep, activating an internal pattern latent in their emotional world. This connection feels immediate, intense, and often irrational. You become the symbol of something they carry within, a reflection of an inner image formed over their lifetime. This makes attraction powerful and dangerous. When someone falls in love with a projected image, they're not seeing you as you are. They're seeing a fantasy, an idealization. You become a screen for their psychological narrative, an unconscious script written long before you entered their life. The problem arises when your true self, with flaws, contradictions, and human complexity, emerges. The idealized image crumbles. What once seemed divine becomes confusing and fragmented. Conflicts arise, and the connection transforms into misunderstandings and disappointments. Jung saw this not as failure, but as essential to growth. Love, for him, isn't just an emotional experience. It's a tool for transformation. Each person we fall for becomes a mirror, reflecting aspects of ourselves we've ignored or repressed. Some reflect hidden potential, others show fears or insecurities. All relationships accelerate individuation, the journey toward wholeness, integrating all parts of ourselves, light and shadow. When someone falls in love with you, they're responding to what you awaken within them, an invitation to transformation. Similarly, the people you fall for reflect what you lack or resemble your inner image. Without awareness, you might repeat patterns, chasing illusions. Jung suggests the key is consciousness. Understanding your projections and archetypes lets you stop seeking completion in others. You realize you're already whole. From this place of self-awareness, love becomes real, rooted not in fantasy or fear, but in authenticity. Ultimately, deep love isn't about finding the perfect person or idealizing them. It's about awakening parts of yourself waiting to be discovered. You don't just fall in love with others, you fall in love with the version of yourself they help you uncover. Jung's ideas reveal that love is always a journey back to oneself, a process of self-discovery through relationships. So, the next time someone falls for you or you feel intense attraction, ask, what part of my soul is awakening now? Jung's ideas aren't just an interpretation of emotional experiences. They're an invitation to self-discovery. Think of a relationship that marked you, one where something inside you irreparably changed. Perhaps you fell for someone who made you see unrecognized parts of yourself. The magic of that connection lies not in the person, but in what they awakened in you. Imagine your life as a blank canvas. The people entering it aren't accidents. Each is a brushstroke shaping your experience. A woman living in fear of vulnerability met someone open and expressive. His boldness awakened her repressed desire for authenticity. Though the relationship was brief, it began unlocking her hidden vulnerability. This process isn't easy. Transformative relationships challenge us to face parts of ourselves we'd rather avoid. Some leave scars that later mark growth. Jung said true love arises not when we find perfection, but when we confront our psyche's shadow through relationships. It's about embracing light and shadow. Even painful losses become profound lessons, preparing us for what's next. In love's journey, it's not about finding the right person, but being ready to face ourselves. The people who cross our path are invisible teachers, each offering crucial lessons. What we seek in others often reflects what we need to find within. If you're ever confused or hurt by a relationship, remember, the answer lies in what it's awakening in you, how it contributes to your individuation. When you accept this truth, love ceases to be an external search and becomes a journey inward, toward wholeness. If this video made you reflect on your experiences with love and connection, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more profound content on psychology, relationships, and the inner world.